Morning, everybody! My name is Jared O'Leary. I've been drumming since 1998, but I still got plenty of stuff to work on. Today, I'm going to be working on Fulcrum control. A couple of technique streams ago, I worked on one of the Fulcrum control exercises. If you scroll down to this one, working on Fulcrum control, we're going to work on the third variation today instead of variation 1. Now, all of these prior live streams have timestamps in the description just so you can see what I was working on, how I was practicing stuff, or to see what I was talking about. Often people will come into my streams and ask me questions because I've been drumming since 1998, because I have a bachelor's, master's, PhD in music education. I've taught every grade, kindergarten through doctoral students, so I have a wide range of teaching, performing experience. So I'll often edit those responses to the questions and put them into this drumming tips playlist. It's got just under 100 videos in here, over 13 hours of free drumming tips that I have learned over the decades that I've been teaching and performing. And if you don't like the topic in the title, there's often multiple different topics that are inside of there. So just go to the description, and then you can find all the different topics in there as chapters. Now, if you are interested in the Fulcrum control exercises that I'm going to be working on, if you scroll down here and go to my home tab of the Tuba view, you can actually find all the exercises organized. We got the chop stuff. It's alphabetical, by the way. We got the grid variations. We've got limb independence, marching bass drum, scores, technique stuff, tips and lessons, etc. There's over 2,000 play-alongs in here, so it should keep you busy for a while. Just click on the header, and then it'll expand to show you more. So, for example, I'm going to be working on Fulcrum control, so I'm going to use this playlist here in a little bit. But first, we got to get the hands going. So I'm going to scroll down here, and I'm going to work on triplet diddle just to get the blood flowing, since I haven't drummed today. So if we click inside of this particular playlist, there's a lot of different variations in here that are for triplet diddle exercises. Now, when you are working on any of these, if you notice any of them that say members first, that just means it's scheduled to come out in the future for free. There's a new one every single day, and there's a little under 500 currently scheduled, so more than a year's worth of content. Now, I'm going to play triplet diddle. There's a couple variations in here. There's a 2-count version, 4-count version, and then there's inverted versions. Check that out if you're interested in that. But we're going to go here. And, yeah, that's not the resolution I'm going for. I think so. Okay. In every one of these play-alongs, you open up the description. In the timestamps, it allows you to jump to whatever BPM you want. So since I'm warming up, I'm going to start off with a nice, comfortable 140. And it will count off. And then you can drum along to it. Again, there's over 2,000 of these exercises to work on. So plenty of exercises to play. Now, it goes up one click at a time. I'm going to go ahead and, since I'm just warming up here, just skip around a bit. When we actually start working on the Fulcrum control exercises here in a few minutes, then I'm going to go one click at a time and really refine my technique. But for right now, I'm just warming up. Get the blood flowing. Then we'll stretch and massage, and then we'll work on technique grind. Sweet, let's go to 160. Again, scrolling down. Pick a timestamp. If it ends with a 0 or a 5, it gives you a few seconds to get yourself set up. Otherwise, it'll just immediately tap off when you click on it. So click on a 0 or a 5. Woo! 170. Don't need to go super fast. Just trying to warm up. whatever tempo you want to go at. If you can't play this one fast, this one goes as slow as 40. That's slow. Three, 180. And then we'll stretch and massage. Go. You know what? Even though we're warming up, let's do it. Let's do 190, and then we'll do the fastest. Will it sound good? I don't know. Roll that D20. We'll find out in a moment. Okay. Now this one's going to tap off immediately, so I got to get ready. 200 for funsies. And then we'll stretch and massage. Like a little bubble. Getting it somewhere. Now, if you want to find this exercise, if you're just now joining, if you go to my home tab on my YouTube, this is where you can find literally over 2,000 free exercises. If you scroll down, we got the chop exercises here. We've got grid variations. There's over 1,000 of those. We've got a bunch of limb independence exercises, over 400 marching bass stuff, some drumline cadences, over 300 technique exercises, and then tips and lessons. So the playlist that I was just using, if you click on the technique header right here, it shows you all the playlists for this. I was working on the triplet diddle variations, but you can also do 16th note diddle variations. But I am going to now stretch and massage, and then we're going to work on fulcrum control, specifically variation 3 today. So we're going to refine our technique to try and improve as a drummer. Now, I am going to do a stretch and massage routine. This first stretch is a weird looking one, but it will actually stretch the sides of your forearm. So you pull in, you push through. Ooh, it looks weird. Yeah. There's a video that's in the tips and lessons section under the drumming lessons playlist called This Hand Routine Saved My Drumming. And it gives you a much better view of like all these stretches that I'm doing right now and kind of explains what's going on. But I'm going to skip that because I've already talked about it. If you do traditional, rotate, then rotate, hold there for like 20, 30 seconds. But I don't march traditional anymore, so I'm not going to do that. Now I'm going to stretch the underside of the forearm. So I could do it like this. I could do 2 fingers at a time. I could do it on the pad like this, or I could do it on the wall. Don't put all your weight into it. I'm going to do this one. The lower you go, the deeper the stretch, by the way. Oh, yeah. Feels good. Oh, that's a good stretch. Now we're going to stretch the top side of the forearm. So you could do it like this. You could do 2 fingers, 2 fingers. That gives it a little deeper. You could do this one on your legs. You could do this one on your pad. Or on the wall. The higher you go, the deeper the stretch. Again, don't put all your weight into it. Don't tear stuff. It's bad. And the last stretch I'm going to do is this. So thumb to thumb, we're stretching the fingers. Now this routine, do it at least once, if not twice a day. Ideally after warm-up, like we just did with triplet diddle. And continue to do it to keep your hands nice and healthy. I had all sorts of hand issues when I was first learning how to drum, the technique that I was taught was a very tight technique. And I was getting carpal tunnel, or the early signs of it. I was getting tendonitis. A vein popped, so my hand turned all purple, or my wrist rather. All sorts of bad stuff. And then I fixed my technique and started doing this hand and stretch and massage routine that I learned from hand doctors and other percussionists, and it saved my drumming quite literally. I would not be able to drum 20 plus years later if I hadn't been doing this daily. Next part that we're going to do is a quick massage routine. Once we finish this, then we'll actually get into fulcrum control. So thumb on top and then fingers underneath, massage and working your way up and down. Just try and get nice and relaxed. It will help your playing. It will help your speed. It will help your power. The more tense you are, the more you choke off the sound, the less your hands, wrists, forearms are able to move naturally, etc. So you really got to focus on staying nice and relaxed. If you don't do that, bad things will happen. Krampus will come and steal your drumsticks. True story. It's weird, but it's true. Okay. Now that we massaged up and down the forearm, the next massage is you massage the back side of your hand with your fingers, and the thumb massages your palm like this. Try and get nice and relaxed. And then this one, other hand. Ooh-wee. And then the very last one is you massage from the base to the tip of each one of your fingers and do it at least 2 or 3 times, working from here to there. And then switch to another finger. And this is the very last thing. And then we'll work on fulcrum control, which is a great set of exercises that's under the technique section on my home tab of YouTube. And there's over 2,000 more. If you don't like this exercise, that's fine. I got you covered. We got chop stuff. We got limb independent stuff. We got marching bass stuff. We got over 1,000 grid variations. There's literally enough content on my YouTube's home channel that if you played 8 hours a day, it'd take you a year to play through all of it. That's crazy. Okay, so we're on the home tab of YouTube. And it's organized alphabetically, so chops, grid, limb, marching bass, drumline scores like cadences, and then technique stuff. So this is where I'm going to get the exercises. Now, because there's so many technique playlists in here, you actually have to click to show all of them. But the one that I'm going to be working out of is fulcrum control. So one of the last technique streams that I did was this one. I'll give you a preview of what that looks like. Okay, so it's working on 1 accent, 2 taps. And it is 4-2-1, so 4 of each of pattern, and then 2 of each of the pattern, and then 1 of each of the pattern. Okay, so this is great if you want to work on your accent taps. It's great on working on the rhythmic interpretation of the spacing for the interior notes, the taps that are only 2 of them. But the one I'm going to work on today is a different variation of that. So we're going to go to fulcrum control variation 3. And for this one, this one is 3 taps, 1 accent. So let's hear what it sounds like. Let me just go to a faster speed. 92, sure. Okay, so let's just listen. Enjoy. Kind of bops. Cool. All right. We're going to play it slow. Now, you'll notice there's no sticking here. Why? Because you can play this off the right, you can play this off the left, or you can do this as double stops. So double stops is where you play 2 hands at the same time. When you're playing a double stop, you do not want to hear a flam or a cha sound. You don't want to hear... What you want is a popping sound, where both of your hands are playing at not only the same height, so you're not like this, but also the same velocity, so the speed from point A to point B and back up again, okay? So All those things are things to pay attention to when doing double stops. Now, when you're working on this, I recommend going slow so you can refine your technique. I like to start at 40 whenever I'm practicing stuff. Yes, I still start at 40. Yes, I've been drumming since longer than most of you have been alive. It's helpful. There's a reason why I do it, and why I recommend all my students do it as well. You should do it too. Here we go. Okay. Stay relaxed. Too tight on the accent. Follow along if you'd like. We're gonna go one click at a time. Why? Because you get better. Late. 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 Stay nice and relax on the accents. Talking screws me up. Don't tense up and pull back too far. So there's a tendency when I used to teach privately, a lot of students, when they would practice stuff slow, they'd play something and they'd pull back for the accent, and then they'd be like, ha! And just like overemphasize, over squeeze, get way too tense while doing this. The goal when playing something relaxed is to use the same technique that you're going to use when you play fast, but you're practicing it slow. Why? Because you're trying to make it so that there's no, like, all of a sudden, when I go from 70 to 80 BPM, suddenly I have to change my technique and play a different way. Play the same way. And so for myself, I'm trying to relax my accent taps when I'm playing an accent tap that is fast. So the way that I'm playing this, I want to try and approach it while going slow. Don't have two separate techniques. So when I'm playing this, I am intentionally trying to have a nice light accent. Just pull back, let the weight, gravity work for you. Don't work extra hard for this, okay? Downstroke, just relax. Don't tense up. Okay? That's the goal, at least. We're trying for that. Light. Very relaxed. Pull back, let it happen. Just tap it in. Late. Late. The first tap after an accent is, inconsistent right now. Ew. So, that was dirty. So the first tap, you want to make sure that you're not like like decrescendoing those taps. You want to have one accent and then three notes that are basically cut and paste of each other. So copy and paste, the exact same thing. So we don't want to have one E and two E and when playing these accent taps. You want to have one and then one note that you do three times. Okay? So I'm trying to focus on that to make sure that I'm not having a decrescendo. So that first tap, really listen to it. And don't also like make it too small and then like crescendo it up as well. Keep it all the same. Here we go. 42. Woo! Slow down. No. I do what I want. And that counts for any of these rhythmic variations. It's not just measure 3. Ew. Clammy. Get better, improvement, but again, don't play too hard on the accents. Just pull it back, let it happen. Here we go. My left is slightly late. Man, talking's really messing me up today. Trying to get better at that. Okay, so again, if you want another variation of this, there's several more Fulcrum control exercises in the technique section, home tab of YouTube. Little flammy. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. This play along is on YouTube, by the way, and thousands more. There's over 2,000 exercises like this. And then every 5 reps gives you a few second break. This is specifically so you can be like, all right, what tempo do I want to play at? If you click on a number that ends with a 0 or a 5, then it gives you this like few second break so you can get your sticks, get yourself set up. Otherwise, if you were to click on like, I don't know, let's start at 153, it will just immediately tap off and you're like, trying to get yourself ready. So click on a 5 or a 0, and then you can leisurely pick up your sticks like this. Here we go. 45. Woo. Light speed. I'm a little heavy on the accents. Now I'm going to relax them a little more. Better. Yeah, my left is slightly late. Yeah, so the left hand is getting that little cha-cha in there. That's not what we don't want. You don't know why you're watching, you don't play the drums? I mean, I'm glad you're sticking around, even if you don't play drums. Just treat this as an ASMR experience. Enjoy. Or you could play along. And if you want to, again, change the speed of this, if you want to play faster or slower, then this is all on the home tab of the tube of you. There's over 2,000 exercises there. It'll keep you and I busy for years. Late. Cut. When working on these exercises, by the way, I highly recommend spending most of your time playing technique stuff and then a little bit on the chop stuff. Don't focus on the chop stuff. That's not how you get better. This is what the good drummers do. So if you want to be a good drummer, practice like them. You struggle rhythmically? Well, let me take a mental break to show you some stuff that will help you out with that. We're going to go to my home tab where you can find everything organized. Yeah. So if you scroll down a little bit, what I'd actually recommend checking out, since you struggle rhythmically, is check out the limb independence section. There's 8th note timing exercises, triplet timing exercises, 16th note timing exercises, and then timing transitions. This is where it goes from one rhythm to another. So for example, triplets into 16th notes and back again. So in these exercises, there's over 52 of them for just the timing transitions. And then for the timing exercises combined, there's like over 150 of them. So I'd highly recommend checking those out if you want to work on your timing. And the play-alongs make it so you can hear perfect rhythmic interpretation of every single one of these rhythms. So check that out if you want to improve your timing. But anyways, mental break over. We continue. 47. Agent 47. That's me. Yeah, there's a lot. Oh, and some of them are currently members first, but they're all scheduled to release for free. I do have channel membership as low as possible. It's like 99 cents, which is the lowest that YouTube allows. So you can sign up if you want, or just wait. There's almost 500 videos that are currently scheduled to release. So it might be a while, because a new one every day. It might be over a year until you see some of them, but they'll come out. I've actually got, early, a few that I've got in the draft right now that I'll schedule. Man, talking's messing me up. Whew! Not a drummer, but it looks and almost sounds like your right stick's making contact with the head first. Yeah, so I actually can't see my hands right now, but there are some slight inconsistencies, which is why I'm working on this. So this is like me practicing and trying to improve it. But ideally what you want is to get rid of the or cha sound and have a pop sound. And it's not necessarily that the right hand is actually coming in early. It's actually that my left hand is late. So that's what my issue is right now. And so I'm making these micro adjustments with my technique. So I'm making like minor adjustments in my hand, as well as with the timing of things to try and fix some stuff. So when I marched with traditional grip on the snare drum, And now I play with match grip, and so I'm still trying to get my I can't speak, my left hand, my left hand to align with my right hand more. So I've got all these little inconsistencies because of all the several seasons that I did this grip instead of with this grip. And then all of these practice streams, I'm showing you how I'm trying to improve as somebody who's been drumming since 1998. But you are correct that the right hand's technically early, but it's actually that the left hand is late. This is like minor details. You're a bassist? Nice. Well, there's actually a lot of timing stuff that can help you as well. On the home tab, see this late, that little chop on those taps? Ew. Yeah, and Dennis, if you have questions about just like music in general or like even teaching, because I have my bachelor's, master's, PhD in music education, and I've taught every grade, kindergarten through doctoral student, I might be able to help you in those areas, even though like you obviously are a better bassist. I can help out with some other stuff, even if you're not a drummer. But so the thing that I'm really focusing on is like trying to get that left hand to match the right hand right now, and unfortunately, you can hear all these inconsistencies. One, because the type of pad that I'm using has this head on it, the laminate, that makes it so that it is much more articulated. So you can hear every single note. So if you're doing like threes, you can hear all the little notes, as opposed to like on a pad that doesn't have this. It just sounds a lot more muddied or washed through. So this allows you to really hear those inconsistencies. Now, if I played this exercise like, and then you wouldn't hear like all those little minor little inconsistencies between the right hand and the left hand, and you wouldn't even see it either. You'd be going off of your memory while you're trying to play. So the reason why I'm playing this as double stops is so you can hear. If it sounds like this, then you go, oh, that sounds bad. I need to refine it. So play as double stops, which, by the way, we stole from string players. The word double stop, that's where it comes from. Play two strings at the same time. Anyways, random factoid of the day. Enjoy! A little late. Utter break. ASMR. Enjoy it. Yeah, honestly, like playing with pad and sticks would definitely help out with like internalizing the timing. So there's like two things with it. With timing, whenever you're trying to improve something, there's the conceptual understanding, and then there's the mechanical execution of the skill. So if you are like a drummer and you're trying to improve your timing, then playing through timing exercises are going to help with both, because it's going to help with not only understanding the concept, but also understanding how to play it. But if you are playing a different instrument, in your case playing bass guitar, then the mechanics for this are going to be different. So the way that you move your hands, you're going to need to be able to work on those mechanics, but you also need to understand the concept. So while all these like different play-alongs that I've got that have like all the different timing exercises in here, conceptually will help you out. Like if you wanted to work on your 16th notes, so you go into this 16th note playlist, and there's a bunch of exercises in here that'll help you with that. You could play it on sticks and pads, and that will help the conceptual understanding to make sure that you get that. But this motion is going to be very different than the motion of actually playing a bass guitar. So what I'd actually recommend doing is like going through the motions of like playing any kind of instrument, whether it's like a string instrument or even you could practice with like a mouthpiece, like a brass or whatever, playing through these exercises. That can help out both the conceptual understanding and the mechanical understanding of like what do your lips need to do, or what your like your embouchure, or what do your fingers and your hands need to do, etc. So even though like my channel has like a couple thousand exercises that are specifically for drummers, you can use them on any instrument, especially if you just focus on the timing exercises. So I'd highly recommend like going through those and whatnot, and that'll help you. But yeah, you could definitely get a sticks and pad. It also just gives you another instrument to learn for fun. I mean, even if it doesn't transfer one to one, like that learning from one thing to another, it still can just like be a fun thing to do, which, you know, is like a concept that is lost on today's society, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, we got some water. Let me get some more. Okay to do things for fun and not make money doing it. You been holding off? Well, today's a good day to start. Never back down, never what? Here we go, 50. Faster than anyone's ever played ever. Slow down, Jared. You just can't do 4 different things on 4 appendages? Oh, I got you. Check out the, on those timing playlists, there's a video, the second one at the top, that is how to develop limb independence. And it's got a several step process for how to actually do that. It's 100% teachable. It's not an innate thing. There's no such thing as that. I say that as somebody who spent the first part of my doctorate focusing on the research on that, skill acquisition, and expertise in relation to... I can't talk while doing that. Give me a second. Okay, so anyways, I was totally screwing up there because I was talking. Yeah, so the video at the top of each one of the timing playlists. So if you go in here, and we go into this, so under like the triplet timing or whatever, this one, how to develop limb independence on the drum kit, it works for anything. So it's all just a mental thing. You can teach yourself how to develop that limb independence. So I highly recommend checking this out. The first half of it in particular will be useful for anything to develop limb independence on, and then like the next half is like just some examples for drum kit, so it's not applicable to playing bass, but you can totally figure out how to do different stuff. In fact, a lot of the things that I demonstrate in that video is like things that I learned for like developing limb independence for like 4 mallet stuff. So like when I played marimba, is when you're doing this, Like, how do you make it so that you can do a one-handed roll while you're playing like a different ostinato pattern on the left hand and whatnot? So there's some techniques for that I've applied to drum kit as well as other things. So super applicable across all the instruments. And again, I promise, innate musical talent is not a thing. After 50 hours, it's indistinguishable from people who practice. So just practice is basically the moral of all the research that's on it. Don't trust me? I'm a doctor. Don't worry. Thanks for your time and sharing this. You're welcome, John. Thank you for stopping in. Happy to share what I know, trying to help out. Here we go, 52. Ew. I was reading. My bad. Hooked on Phonics did not prepare me for reading while playing drums. Thank you for the sub. That left is still late. Oops. Yeah, my wife is learning bass and slap bass. So she just showed me some of the stuff that she's worked on. It's cool. I hope these exercises can help with you and, you know, my wife. And no one else. No one else is allowed to use them. Just the three of us. Everyone else, unsub. That left is still coming late. Oops. Again, when practicing this, practice with a fast technique slow. Stay relaxed. Do not force the accents. Just pull back. Let it happen. A little late. Still late. Now, I want to elaborate on something that I just kind of mentioned in passing there. So if we go back here on my home tab, and if we scroll down to T for technique, thank you for the sub, I appreciate you. So if you go scroll down under the technique stuff to the stick control variations, inside of here, these are some like very basic exercises that actually have some complicated fun variations in here, like the advanced stick control with filler. I love that one. But when you're playing through stick control, the whole point of this exercise is to make it all sound like one hand. So it's just like copy and paste the same thing over and over and over while you're changing your sticking. So when you're doing this and you're playing through, like, let's say that second measure that's on there, there's a tendency when people are practicing stuff slow that they will use like a downstroke, and they will use this like that while playing through it. But if you were to play that fast, if we were to play this phrase and slowly speed it up, and you have that downward motion where you're stopping the stick and then you're lifting it up, it is highly inefficient. So what I highly recommend doing is to have this like rebound approach even when you're playing slow. So the technique that you use when you're playing fast, make it happen when you're playing it slow. And that will pay off for you in the long run. Now, one of the ways that you can actually practice this with a tool that I developed. Silence. If you're back on my home tab of YouTube, if you go down to the technique section, again, click on the header for it. We've got fast, slow, fast, and then down here is the opposite of it. Where'd it go? Slow, fast, slow. So these exercises are great for working up anything. And I actually have had some people who said that they're like trumpet players and they use this for their practicing. So Dennis, this might be something that you could use as well. But what we got here is something that starts slow, whatever tempo you pick, goes up, starts at 40, and then it goes up to whatever tempo you pick for the highest tempo, and then it slows it back down again. And it does this with different subdivisions. So let's say you're trying to work on your 16th notes for whatever. So if you go to the 16th note version right here of slow, fast, slow, when you click on this, it's got some different looking timestamps in here. So for example, 40 to 140 to 40. So when you click on this one, it's going to count you off at 40 beats a minute while playing, in this instance, 16th note subdivision. And then it will go one click at a time faster all the way up to 140, and then it'll slow back down. So if we just kind of skip through this, it's slowly getting faster, so you can refine your technique for whatever it is that you're playing. And then once it gets to 140, it'll hold it there for 4 measures, and then it slows down. And so it just keeps going slower and slower and slower all the way back down to 40. So this is like a great way to, like, if you want to work on your paradiddles, like start off slow, and then it slowly goes faster, etc. And then it gets to your maximum speed, and then it slows it back down again. Great way to work on a rudiment, to work on a musical phrase, to work on whatever it is that you want to work on. You need 2 pieces of advice. You want to learn drums? Your right hand falters. Interesting. Are you left-handed? Secondly, you're planning to purchase a roll-up drum pad to learn drums. Is that a good idea? I actually don't know that pad. Let's see. So my on here, if you go to the home tab, if we scroll down to here, I've got only 2 product reviews. They're not sponsored or anything. But the drum pad that I recommend the most, at least for rudimental, is the one that I'm using right here. So this one is the Off-World Invader V3, and it is fantastic. And so I outline in that video like why I like that one. I have a bunch of other pads. Some are much quieter, and some are better for building chops, and then others like this are like much more better for practicing your technique because it's so articulate with the laminate on here. It makes it so you can really hear like 3 strokes. So you can hear each of the 3 notes regardless of the speed you're playing on. But if I use one of the other pads that's like off camera, then you just hear like a buzz roll as opposed to the 3 articulated notes that are there. Ew, those are bad. Those are better. Progress. So this is my favorite pad, but if you want a quieter pad, like the Real Feel pads are pretty good for being quieter. Some of them have like a dual side. So like I've got one over there that's like got a softer side and then a harder side. But in terms of like working up your right hand to match your left hand, so if you go to the technique section down here, there's a playlist that is called double stops, and this is what I'm doing right now where you're playing both hands at the same time. And what I recommend doing is playing through a lot of exercises like this where you're playing both hands at the same time to like work on whatever it is you want to work on, like your accent taps. If you want to relax them, check out those exercises. If you want to work on your fulcrum control like I was doing, check out those. If you want to work on your 3 strokes like the way that I'm playing it, check out this like isolated 3s exercises. Like there's a ton of things that you can do. Thank you for the sub on YouTube to like work on this. So this is a great way to like listen for, here's what the right hand sounds like, here's what the both hands sound like, here's what the left hand sounds like, here's what both hands sound like. So the double stops playlist is fantastic for working up both your hands. But another way is to just like simply just like work it up on just like that one hand that is giving you trouble. In my instance, it's the left hand that's like not doing great. The electronic roll-up drums. Oh, you mean like a drum kit, like the MIDI one? I don't know. So the kit that I've got is acoustic electric hybrid. So it's a normal acoustic kit, but it's got these, I don't know if you can see it, these mesh looking, it's got mesh heads and then these like cymbals where you can actually see my hand through it. So these are great for low volume. It's a little bit bouncier than normal. So like the mesh heads are pretty bouncy, and then the cymbals are not as bouncy, but they significantly lower the volume of the pads, or not the pads, the drums. I can't speak. So that way, when you're practicing, you don't annoy everyone in a 2-mile radius. So I highly recommend those. But the reason why it's an electric hybrid, if you go, I guess easiest way to do it is here. So it's the second link in any one of the videos, but it takes you to /gear on my website. This shows you all of like the different gear that I'm using. So these are the drum triggers that I'm using, and then the drum module. It's like one of the cheaper ones that you can find. So it like doesn't let you play all the ghost notes. It doesn't give you all the textures and timbres you would with a more expensive one. But for like the price, it's a good way to have an electric acoustic hybrid using this EAD10 and then the Yamaha drum triggers. There's like the bass triggers, and then there's the normal drum kit triggers. So that's what I recommend. And then if you go to the percussion section, here's where you can find a bunch of other things that I recommend. And most of these, by the way, are affiliate links. So it does help me out if anyone like goes to these affiliate links and like purchases something. Like I get like 4%-ish back from Amazon or whatever at no cost to you. So you could like literally buy a TV after clicking on this book, and then I get like 4% back for that. So thank you for people who have done that, but you don't have to. But there's a bunch of drum kit books that I recommend, some rudimental mallets, concert snare, blah, blah, blah. Here are the low volume cymbals, and then the heads. And then the sticks that I like to use on drum kit are the Dijonets. But the sticks that I'm using for all of these rudimental ones are the Chop Builder sticks, the Hardeman hammers. So I highly recommend those. But let's go back to here. Oh, we didn't do the Shia LaBeouf motivation today. We're going to chop out. So the majority of, thank you for the sub, I appreciate you. The majority of these like practice streams, I like to share like how I'm practicing and what I'm practicing. And I spend the vast majority of it just refining something. So if we like scroll down here to the prior live streams, and we look at like what I did last time with the other fulcrum control variation that I did. If you look in the timestamps, you can see like I talked for a little bit, I warmed up, I stretch and massage, and then starting right here, we did fulcrum control, going one click at a time, all the way through here, and then at the very end I chopped out. This is what you should replicate, and what I recommend for your own practicing is spend time going slow through this. So if you like look at this, we're at 40 beats a minute, and then a few minutes later we're at 43 beats a minute, and then a few minutes later we're at 47 beats a minute, and a few like we're going slow. I've been drumming since 1998, and I still slow things down. So don't think that just because you're like an intermediate or an advanced drummer that you can skip this process. No, everybody needs to do this if you actually want to refine. And then for the last like 5 or 10%, play something for fun. Like if you go on here, there's like a bunch of chop exercises, which just one of me. All these chop exercises are great things to chop out with, which speaking of, I'm going to do that right meow. So I want to play a shopping spree. And I'm going to play my favorite one. There's a few in here that are really cool. But one of my favorite ones is one that I learned a long time ago. And it's called 5/4 Shopping Spree. Apparently it's by the Velvet Knights. We're going to start off at 100. 100, that's how you pronounce it. So you click on it, and then it'll count you off. And then we're going to go as fast as I can until my arms spontaneously combust. So stay tuned for that. Don't worry. We got a fire extinguisher off camera. It's fun, right? If you don't think that one's fun, you can unsub right now. Just kidding, you can have a different opinion. Okay, so now I'm going to go 5 clicks at a time until I can't play it anymore. And this will give me data for things of like, well, where did it fall apart? Was it on the flam 5s? Was it on like a cha-cha-cha? And then I can refine that on the next practice stream. So I'm using this to not only have fun, but also to collect some data for where can I continue to refine and improve my technique over time. That's the plan, at least. Ooh-wee. 110. I think my breaking point will probably be 120 today. Stay tuned, we'll find out. Today's episode of Jared Practices Publicly. I'm very good, sometimes. Stay tuned tomorrow while we do limb independent stuff, specifically focusing on stuff I'm not good at. It'll be like an hour of me trying to improve on stuff that currently sounds meh. But that's how you get better. Whee! It's extra hard with these Hardeman hammers, but I love it. Like, I measured them one day on stream. They're 44% heavier than normal sticks. So they're great for working up your chops. So like if you want to play like with a normal pair of Hardemans, you can. Like they're fun. But they feel so light compared to these. So if you want to work on your chops, I highly recommend them. The rubber tips? No, these are the normal ones. But I do have the rubber tips right here as well. So you can play with those if you want to work on it. They're quieter. But that pair of sticks, I need to retape. They're sticky. They melted in the sun because, you know, Arizona, everything melts. Funny story. So, you know, like back when CDs were a thing, and you like had like CDs in your car. So you had those like the visors that had storage slots for your CDs. So I had all of my favorite CDs in the 2 storage slots, like on the front. And, you know, Arizona gets really hot. It got so hot it melted the visors, and every single one of my favorite CDs was ruined. And the sad part about that is the company that produced all of those albums, the Happy to Be Hardcore albums, like went under. So you can't like find them unless you like go on YouTube and find the illegal versions. So, anyways, story time with Jared. Hope you enjoyed. Here we go. 115. Okay, I need to lower the heights a little bit, especially at 120. Click. If this is too fast, you can go as slow as 20 on this play along. Again, play with a fast technique slow. Stay relaxed. I forgot I'm lowering the heights. Remember, Jared. It's fast. Yeah, that last line, that's where my arms are gonna burst into flames. Don't worry, I've got 9-1 already dialed in. I just gotta press one more 1. So we can call the fire department. 125. Yeah, what was that? Flawless, not a single mistake. Did I slow down on that last one? No, shh, 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 shh. Hush, hush. It sounded great. Let's get some water. I'm stalling. We're gonna try it at 130. Is it gonna sound good? Yeah. Wink. Stay hydrated. Okay. Wish me luck. Faster than anyone has ever played. Ever. Previously it was 129 beats a minute. I played the alternative ending. I'll make a play along for that if you want to be able to learn how to do that too. But until then, stay tuned for more. So if you go to my home tab, this is where you can find over 2,000 free exercises. Over 2,000. Am I exaggerating? No. I'm being quite literal here. So we've got 63 chop exercises in here. We've got over 1,000 grid variations. There's so many grid variations, you actually have to click to show all of them. But there's 420 for a triplet grid. 578 for 16th note grid, and you're like, Jared, that's not 1,000. Yeah, I know. And then there's 37 other wacky grids like Herta grid if you want to do some of that. But you actually have to click on the header to show all of them. There's a bunch of limb independent stuff. There's over 400 marching bass stuff. There's several cadences. There's over 360 technique stuff, like the Fulcrum control exercise that I was using earlier. All of these are free. If it says members first on one of the videos, like let's see if we can find one. Timing Transitions has some. So any of these members first videos, like these, that just means that it's scheduled to release for free. You can sign up for membership as cheap as 99 cents. There's like a join button or something like on the video at the bottom of it, but you don't have to sign up for it. There's over 460, I think, videos that are currently scheduled to come out. So it might take over a year before it comes out because there's a new one every single day, but it will come out. So you don't have to sign up for membership. I don't want to put this behind a paywall. The reason why it's 99 cents is because that's the cheapest I can make it on YouTube. So thank you for people who have signed up for membership, but you don't have to get access to any of this content. But if you want the more educational stuff, check out the drumming tips videos and the lessons. I've got literally over 13 hours of drumming tips in this playlist alone. And I'm constantly working on scripts to write for the drumming lessons. But I do appreciate people stopping in. If you enjoy these free resources, just share it with somebody else. And if you want to find it where it doesn't have like the gaming and then the computer science stuff, because I'm a nerd and share what I'm interested in, the first link on every video takes you to my website where you can find everything organized. So it's just the drumming stuff, all the chop exercises, all the grid variations, all the limb independent stuff, the marching bass, the cadences, the technique, and then the lessons. So you can find it organized neater than I can do on YouTube, or you could just stay on my home tab on YouTube, whatever you want. I'm going to tear this thing down, and I'm going to get ready for Uncharted. We're playing through the first game, so stay tuned for that. Probably in about 20 or so minutes. But tomorrow, we'll be working on drum kits, specifically trying to work on the mid-impedance patterns I'm not good at yet. Emphasis on the yet, so we'll get better at it. But again, I appreciate you all. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for checking in and for using the exercises. I hope you enjoy them. Many more to come. And goodbye.